morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is day 2 of the Geneva International Auto Show, starting the day off at the Intercontinental Hotel, and the parking lot is as crazy as ever. Check this out. We have a full red carbon McLaren P1, and then right behind me is a Phantom Coupe. And then, of course, if you missed yesterday's video, you would have missed the Zonda as well as LFA Nürburgring edition. There's a Bugatti EV110 and 2 McLarens as well. I have never seen a P1 in red carbon fiber. Look at that. Here at the Rolls-Royce stand, now they haven't introduced anything new. Of course, they released the Cullinan, which I was fortunate enough to be able to drive off-road in Wyoming, but they have shown us just how far you can take the concept of bespoke. So let's go through each individual one of the new Rolls-Royce vehicles and show you just how crazy the level of customization truly is. Inside of the Wraith here, check out how many colors we've got going on. This beautiful dark blue, orange, and white, and then at the same time, we have this gorgeous carbon fiber with kind of gold sparkling accents in it. Now behind me we have this beautiful Rolls-Royce Dawn with my favorite Cannondale wood paneling, but something I haven't seen before is this aero cowling cover, an addition that you can put in the rear seats of the Dawn to change up the look and aerodynamics of the car. So we've got the beautiful Cannondale wood that continues into the interior, but what I really like is this dark blue leather, and they've also finished it in carbon fiber. That looks amazing. Behind me is a Tranquility collection long wheelbase Phantom that they have taken the level of bespoke to a whole new level. We have this beautiful matte hood, and the emblem, the Spirit of Ecstasy, is actually titanium. We've got a gorgeous gold coach line that runs all the way along the side and actually ends up stopping 3/4 of the way through. Typically, it ends all the way at the rear of the car, but you can customize the length of the pinstripe as well. And then on the inside, they've continued the gold themes in the speaker system as well as the gallery. Look how gorgeous that is. But one of the coolest features of this Phantom is that this center button right here is actually a 3 billion-year-old meteorite. Check that out, and it actually has the coordinates from where it was found. That is unbelievable. And then, of course, this is the long wheelbase variant, not like the normal Phantom doesn't have enough legroom, but look how much room you have in the back. All right, guys, it is now time to head over to Aston Martin, who has released not 1, not 2, but 3 new cars on their stand, all of which are incredibly exciting, and I can't wait to share with you guys.
Alright guys, first up on the Aston Martin stand is an extremely exciting car. You've seen the Valkyrie before, but this is the first actual running prototype, meaning the powertrain has been mated to the body, and this is actually coming to fruition. Apparently deliveries are going to start at the beginning of next year. One of the coolest hypercars ever created, truly taking F1 technology with their partnership with Red Bull Racing to a road car. It's unbelievable that this is actually a road car, especially when you look in the interior, absolutely how small the cabin is and how dedicated to performance, acceleration, and downforce the car truly is. So, some engine specs for you. It's got a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 11,000 RPMs. Mated to its hybrid powertrain, it makes 1,160 horsepower. It's made almost entirely of carbon fiber. Being lightweight was one of the most important elements of the Valkyrie. Its power to weight ratio is 1:1. Now, some very unique elements of the car in terms of its aerodynamics. Instead of having a massive rear spoiler, a lot of the aerodynamics are actually from the underbody and these 2 Venturi tunnels that run along the sides of the car that provide so much downforce. The CEO of Aston Martin claims that apparently the Valkyrie might actually be able to run some lap times around specific tracks faster than an F1 car or an LMP1 car. Let's take a look at the interior. Look how spectacular that is. Digital display in the center of the squared off steering wheel. Of course, instead of mirrors, we actually have cameras, which you can see on the screens to the left and the right. But look how close the passenger and the driver sit to each other. And also notice your feet are above your hips when driving this car like a Formula One car.
The rear of the Valkyrie is absolutely insane. Look at that gaping rear diffuser, and you can see all the way underneath the car to the other side. All of this causes suction down to the ground, adding into downforce. And also look at how cool those rear taillights are.
Here it is, guys, one of the coolest cars from the entire show, the new baby Valkyrie. This is Aston Martin's new entry-level hypercar set to compete against the likes of the McLaren Senna. Its current code name is AMRB003. The 3 comes from the fact that this is the third mid-engine hypercar developed by Aston Martin since its inception. First with the Valkyrie, then the Valkyrie AMR Pro, and finally the baby Valkyrie. Now they've taken all of the concepts, the F1 technology from Red Bull Racing, and put it into a more practical, as they call it, road car. Instead of being all out for the track, this is more road focused. They're making 500 of these, and the interior is more spacious as well. One of the most spectacular parts of the 003 is its flex foil technology for the rear wing. They actually use aerospace technology used in airplanes to develop a new rear wing that causes increased downforce without a lot of the turbulent effects that active rear wings have. Part of that carbon fiber panel can move without the entire panel moving, which apparently, knowledge far beyond mine, is super effective. Heavily inspired by the Valkyrie, the 003 is similar in its design, yet almost more gorgeous at the same time. Just look at how low the front end of the hood is. Now, this car is powered by a different powertrain than the Valkyrie. We've got an in-house motor. It's mid-mounted. We don't know if it's single turbo or twin turbocharged yet, but it is a V6 turbocharged hybrid powertrain. It also has a really unique oil system. It's called Nexel. It's fully sealed, and apparently you can change the oil in this car in just 90 seconds. Now, taking a look at the rear of the car, you can see some of the unbelievable aerodynamic elements. I love how you can see all the way through the air right there through the front of the car. They're making 500 of these, and production is set to go in late 2021. Now, on the interior, we've got a little bit more room than the Valkyrie, so it's more practical. We've also got a space to hold your iPhone in there, which is pretty cool. Behind me is yet another stunning car from Aston Martin. This is the Vanquish Vision concept, taking some of the stylistic cues from the 003 as well as the Valkyrie, as well as employing F1 technology. This is going to be the supercar competitor to the 720S as well as the F8 Tributo. We've got a similar powertrain as in the 003. It's a V6 turbocharged hybrid powertrain. One thing is for sure, the car is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Now, Aston Martin says this is 85% complete of what you will see in the production car. I imagine they'll have traditional mirrors instead of these beautiful cameras here, but the lines on this car are absolutely terrific. We also don't have a rear window, which is quite interesting, but certainly looks really cool. Some similarities to the DB11 shape as well, with this section right here where the roof meets the rear quarter panel. Now, coming around to the back, look at that rear diffuser. Last up, we have the Lagonda all-terrain SUV concept set for production in 2022. It's fully electric, all-wheel drive, and looks like no other SUV
on the road. Of course, this is a concept, but it's been designed from the top down to make it look less boxy than your typical SUV. Check out the interior. The choice of materials and also the design is absolutely exquisite. Now come around to the rear. Check out how beautiful the badge work is on this car. Look at that. Now Aston Martin says its typical clientele, its desired buyer for this car isn't somebody who's going after the Bentley Bentayga or the Lamborghini Urus. It's somebody like a tech entrepreneur who might be willing to buy a Tesla Model X, but instead might get the Lagonda all-terrain. Next, in the world of hypercars, we are headed to Koenigsegg to check out the latest and greatest from Sweden.
Well, here it is, guys. Behind me is the new mega car from Koenigsegg, the Jesko. This is the successor to the Agera RS, and Jesko, the name, comes from Christian von Koenigsegg, the founder of the brand's father, and it boasts some pretty impressive numbers. We've got a reworked 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 that on E85 makes 1,600 horsepower. It also touts the world's lightest crankshaft for a V8 engine. Like with the Regera, Koenigsegg has once again reinvented the transmission with their new Lightspeed transmission. Instead of a double clutch unit, it doesn't have one clutch, it doesn't have two clutch, but it has 7. It is a 9-speed transmission with 7 clutches, and it actually happens to be lighter than a standard double clutch unit. This is an awesome thing because my only complaint with driving the Agera RS was the rather clunky and slower transmission. The problem with the double clutch is withstanding the power that this car is able to make, but they have fixed it with a completely new technology designed in-house. What's incredibly impressive about the transmission is Koenigsegg's ultimate power on demand technology. What this means is the car's measuring at all times the engine speed as well as the vehicle speed, and the transmission itself can perfectly choose the right gear for optimal levels of acceleration. Let's say you pull the downshift paddle once lightly, it'll downshift 1 time. But unlike a double clutch transmission where you have to go from 6th gear to 5th gear to 4th gear to 3rd gear, with this new Lightspeed transmission, a hard press on the paddle can drop however many gears you need in order to optimize acceleration. So say you're coming out of a turn, you're in 4th gear and you need to drop to 2nd, it happens instantaneously. The Jesko is going to come in 2 different forms. This is the track-focused version, which has significantly more downforce, over 1,000 kilograms of downforce, and another one that's meant for VMAX. Koenigsegg is hoping this is the first car to ever be able to break the 300 mile per hour mark. We'll see, is it the F5 or is it the Koenigsegg Jesko? Here we can get a closer look at the powertrain of the Jesko, that beautiful 5-liter twin turbocharged V8, and look how small the 9-speed 7-clutch transmission is fitted behind it. It is amazing how unbelievable this powertrain truly is. The rear wing is active and is able to tilt back and forth to increase and decrease drag and downforce. Take a look at that beautiful carbon fiber rear diffuser and exhaust. Now we've got a flat plane crank V8, which is unbelievable for the amount of power that this Koenigsegg produces, and I imagine it is going to sound absolutely ridiculous. Come around to the front of the car and look how massive that front splitter and dive planes are, as well as those beautiful fender vents. Let's see if we can get a good look at the interior of the car. Look at that, we've got a digital display in the middle of the steering wheel, as well as some displays to the left and to the right. Alcantara and carbon fiber absolutely everywhere. And look at that, a clear panel in the roof. That's not all we've got on the Koenigsegg stand. We also have a beautiful, fully exposed carbo titanium Regera that also sports one of their in-house innovative direct drive transmissions. This has only 1 gear. unbelievable. Look at the fit and finish of this carbon fiber. Just how all the panels line up and the sheen from the titanium in that weave is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Check this out, guys. So there's a brewery right next to the Koenigsegg factory, and they have branded this After Drive Jesko beer, and it is actually really, really good. Well guys, that concludes my visit to the Geneva International Auto Show. It was an absolute blast, and I highly, highly recommend, if you can make it, this is the one car show of the year that you absolutely have to attend. I hope you enjoyed all of the new releases from so many different manufacturers this year. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, smash that subscribe button. We are headed back to the United States for some awesome new content. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.